Hello, and thank you for joining me, everybody. Happy New Year to you. And today is the anniversary of the birth 19 years ago of Greta Thunberg. And she is still a teenager. Recently, she did an interview with the BBC's media editor, Amal Rajan, who talked to her in an interview that's well worth seeing if you get the chance. But it's clear from watching her that although she's grown up a lot and doesn't have pigtails any longer, she's still only a teenager, and she giggles away, for example, uncontrollably it seems, at something that Amal Rajan says, but she doesn't think was funny, and she explains that it's an in-joke with some friends of hers. But it's very much a teenager's thing to do, and it makes you realise the extraordinary contrast between what she's done on the world stage and how she actually is as an individual. One of the things that interested me in the interview was that Amal Rajan was pressing her to say that it was all very well getting up, making generalised statements that we needed to do something about the climate changes, but also she should be more willing to give details. For example, she will not say whether she's for or against nuclear energy. And she was saying, no, my job is to challenge people with the big picture. She said, if you're, and this is one of her favourite analogies, if a fire develops in your home, you don't wander around wondering what you're going to take away with you from the blaze. You try and put it out. And so what she's saying is that is our priority. And it is, as we enter this new year, a priority for all of us to see what we can do to play our part and to be aware of the kind of scenario that Greta Thunberg presents to us. Not so that we feel guilty or panicky or despairing, but so that we keep in mind constantly the need to do what we can to help to bring the nation and the whole world down to a net zero point. I think one of the problems is it is hard to know what we could do, and New Year resolutions to try and do something about it are difficult to come up with. But one thing that occurred to me recently is that apparently local authorities have been given something like £9 million by the government to plant trees. And a lot of them are doing this. It sounds good. A local authority can say, we've planted all these trees. But apparently for more than 80 local authorities, no attempt whatever is being made to see how they're getting on, to see whether they've lived and survived. And so it looks like what I think is called greenwashing. It does the council's credentials good, but actually it does no real good for the planet. And maybe if we have the contacts or can get hold of an appropriate name and address, we might write to councillors and just ask them whether they are in fact making sure that trees planted are properly cared for. But that would only be such a small thing. We need to keep our eyes and ears open for anything that we can do that will contribute, because the details are important. And yet with Greta Thunberg, we have to say that ultimately what we really want is for governments to really tackle the issue head on and to be willing to go along with the implications of that for our lifestyles, because it's in the big picture we need to put out the fire.